This true wireless is actually very impressive in sound for me, but somehow I'm having a hard time using them. So hello and welcome to Aftersound Review, and this is my review for Fiio FW5, and I believe this is the latest true wireless from Fiio and costs $150 and using a single dynamic driver and 2 balancer mature. And just like usual, I'll break down this review from the build, fit, feature, and sound. In terms of build quality, I would say they are the usual true wireless. The case is fully made of plastic, just like usual, and it's not heavy. It has a very kind of oval, thick shaped. Nothing really stand out from them. And you get this power indicator here using light, and the true wireless itself is fairly big and thick. Like this, you might remember this shape from the Fiio FW5 or Fiio FW7, but let me tell you, the type of materials that they are using here is definitely different. I believe this is plastic just with a metallic color on it, very different from the Fiio FW5 or FW7 that are using actual metal, so they will feel a lot heavier. This is, even though it looks big like this, it's actually kind of lightweight. It has 2 buttons on the upper side, also side of this true wireless, and yeah, just like that. The ear tips, the nozzle part is actually a little bit big, but yeah, I think that's it. Well, regarding the fit or the ergonomics of this IM, well, I have to say that this true wireless does include this Fiio HS18 ear tips that somehow doesn't really work for me because they are kind of short. Also, they are very flimsy. So yeah, at least when I'm using them, it's easy for me to get them collapsed in my ears because it's really thin and flimsy, the umbrella part of it. So I'm changing them to using either the Acoustic 8008 or like the vinyl audio type E ear tips, and that helps me a lot with the fit. But nevertheless, they fit, even though they look big like this. Honestly, they just feels fine in my ears. They are a little bit protruding over, but nevertheless, they are fine for me. It's just maybe my complaint with them is when I'm using them. The thing is, they don't have a tap control, so you cannot use them like this. You need to push the button, and the button position is, one is here. I hope you can see this in the video, and also one is here. And sometimes it's kind of confusing because I'm just fastly pushing the button, and sometimes it gets switched here or here because they are close. And yeah, just like that. Honestly, using the buttons is a little bit confusing. And also when I'm putting them back in the case, well, let me show you. When I'm putting them back in case, I usually touch them like this, right? And when I touch them like this, it's exactly where one button is. You see that there's a button on the upside here. So when I'm either taking them off from the case or putting them on the case like this, I usually accidentally I push that button. So yeah, it's a little bit frustrating when I'm using them because simply they are not the usual tap function. They don't have usual tap function. Also, they have 2 instead of only 1 button. Now, honestly, in terms of true wireless, there's not a lot of feature I could find from this true wireless. They also have this Fiio app that you can download yourself in either in App Store or in Google Play. But the problem with me when I'm using this Fiio app, that the feature is lacking. I mean, they are just, yeah. Let me show you a bit what can you find in the apps. They're basically just basic function. There are no, there are no noise cancellation or ambient function on them or anything. Kind of latency game mode like that, or yeah, there's not a lot of gimmick, and there are a lot of function in the Fiio app itself. It's fairly a minimalistic app. So yeah, compared to the other competitors that I have ever tried and reviewed, even against a much cheaper sound core from Anchor, this true wireless has very minimalist app. But on the nice side, you also get this IPX4 water resistance, so you can use them freely. Even you get this splash of water, there's no need to panic about that. Well, that's just a nice addition here. Okay, so now regarding the frequency response of these true wireless, as you can see here, I can simply say they are Chi-Fi-ish V-shape generic. But the thing is that I like about this this true wireless is it has a really nice resolution for a true wireless. The thing is, I have tried a lot of true wireless, and honestly not a lot of them strike me as technical. They are mostly about the features and some noise cancelling and yeah, just like that. But this true wireless definitely gives me that technical feeling that I used to get in the usual IM, so it's kind of different. And also this true wireless has a decent treble extension that can be heard actually. Now when we're talking about the bass of this true wireless, well, using its stock tips, the Fiio HS18, I don't know why, but I have a bad relation with them. I couldn't feel the bass, so when I first hear them, they sound kind of thin. But after I changed them using any ear tips, like the usual ear tips, Acoustic 8008 or Final Type E, for me giving better still. Now, this true wireless actually have a decent full sounding bass that goes deep, but with well controlled. So it's an all-rounder kind of bass. It goes deep, it has that good punch and fullness on it. So you hear EDMs, you hear a lot of music, it will serve you nice bass. But the mid-range of this true wireless definitely favors more for higher human voices frequency. So if you're hearing female voices, it's mostly will be more forward rather than male vocal. So yeah, it's not thick, it's lacking a little bit of body for male vocalists, but for female vocalists, yeah, they will sound a little bit forward. I don't think that there are sibilants I find here, but it's just a little bit too thin, at least for my preference for vocal section. But other than that, for me the mid-range for this IM is actually pretty nice. When you're hearing piano and guitars, it does sound natural, even though it lacks a little bit of body, but it doesn't sound as super thin or super metallic or anything like that. It's just a little bit thin, but the clarity, also the note definition, is definitely good. Now for the treble area, this is the first time maybe I think I found a true wireless that has a really extended treble section. And even there is some unevenness in the treble section, making some treble section in percussion. Sometimes it's a little bit too forward and sometimes it's a little bit reduced, yeah, because it's really uneven in that area. But in terms of extension on notes, it's actually quite good. If you are hearing violins, if you're hearing orchestral music, or if you're hearing classical music, I do believe that the violin sounds open here, and then the cymbals, also any percussions, sounds open. It's just a little bit uneven, but for the extension, it's pretty nice for a true wireless. Now for the technical, just like I said in the beginning, that not a lot of true wireless comes off as technical, at least in my ears. Most of them are mostly about tonal and also features, but this true wireless definitely gives me that technical feeling. It has a good separation between the bass and also mid treble section. So yeah, the three driver here works nicely and give you that kind of separation from hybrid drivers. Also you get a good soundstage and imaging. It feels quite three-dimensional with good sound presentation where the sound is coming from. So for the technical perspective, I would say that this true wireless is quite good. It's definitely not good against IM around $150, but against some true wireless that I have ever tried, even the Apple iPod Pro that I have tried in stores, or the Samsung Galaxy Buds, they are not as technical as this, I bet. So honestly, when I'm using them, well, they are nice. They have good sound, they have fairly nice fit, at least when I'm using third-party tips. But my main problem with them, the thing is, even though I like the sound of them, but when I'm using them, I can't help but there's a lot of mistake happen. Like when I'm, especially because of the placement of the buttons here and here, maybe because I'm just using them for fairly around 2 or 3 weeks, but I get that mistakes always happen to me, at least So I hope you understand with my review here, even though it has a nice sound quality with good technicality, but I'm having some hard time using them, and the features for a true wireless is kinda lacking. So if you are someone who prioritizes those noise cancelling maybe, or some features for your true wireless, this will not give you that even you have downloaded the apps. But if you are someone who is looking for a true wireless that gives you that technical feeling and good separation and details, at least this is one of the most technical true wireless that I have ever tried. So yeah, there's plus and minus. Personally, I'm not really enjoying them, using them, simply because of lacking of features and that button controls. But anyway, this is my final score for its tonality and also technicality. I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.